France. I've got Florence Villamino with me here on set. Hi, Flo. We're starting here in France, as I said, and a lot of focus on a budding scandal within the opposition UMP party.
That's right. This all started in this week's issue of Le Point magazine, which is a right-wing magazine. They dubbed it L'affaire Copé, so the Copé scandal. It's a little bit of a complicated story, so I'm going to walk you through it. Basically, former President Nicolas Sarkozy was accused of sucking all the money out of the UMP's party coffers during his 2012 presidential run. But according to Le Point, it wasn't Sarkozy that was responsible for this financial fiasco. It was actually the party leader, Jean-François Copé. What if Sarkozy was robbed? That's what Le Point says. Basically, Le Point says it has documents that show that Jean-François Copé is linked to a communications firm that really lined its pockets during Sarkozy's presidential run, basically by overcharging for various jobs it did. But Copé, must be said, denies all this and says he's being set up.
Well, the left-wing press is having a field day about this one.
That's right now. Libération loves any occasion it can get to ram into the right-wing UMP, so they're also focusing on this today. They're really focusing on how silent the right-wing party is being about all this. Now, according to Libération, Le Point's revelations didn't really come as much of a surprise for the right-wing, but nobody wants to throw oil on the fire. And why is that? Well, it's because next month there are very important municipal elections that are going to be held here in France, so everyone seems to be trying to avoid the subject. Now, the Huffington Post, the French version, focuses on how UMP voters are reacting to this, and they're really not buying all this. You can see that même pas vrai. None of this is true. They, too, are all standing behind their party leader.
All right, well, French and international papers are also continuing to focus on the situation in Ukraine.
That's right. It's on the front page of Le Figaro today. They're talking about a high-risk escalation that comes after the country is increasingly divided between pro-Russians and pro-Europeans, and especially in the region of Crimea. Now, a lot of the other international papers are focusing on this. The International New York Times, for instance, talks about how a split is widening in Ukraine. That's on the front page of the International New York Times today. And the Wall Street Journal, on its front page, meanwhile, is talking about how Ukraine is roiled by challenges from the east. Now, all this comes as Russia has ordered for 150,000 troops to move immediately into a state of combat readiness. And a lot of papers are saying that what Vladimir Putin is doing here is flexing his military muscle. In fact, there's a cartoon in The Independent today of Vladimir Putin flexing his muscle.
And moving on to the U.S., where Republicans are critical of the way President Barack Obama is dealing with this situation.
That's right. The Daily Beast says that Republicans are feeling pretty nostalgic about the Cold War. According to this article, top lawmakers in the House and the Senate said that, well, the world would be better off if the Cold War was still going on, because basically it was clear how things worked. It was clear how superpowers worked. And the Daily Beast also says that Republicans are critical of Obama for cutting the defense budget while all this is going on.
All right. Thank you very much, Florence Villamino, for that quick look at the papers. You'll be back, I understand, with more